You're staring at a spreadsheet with, I don't know, 1,000 rows of accounting data. And whether you are sitting in an exam hall losing precious marks or sitting in a boardroom losing your manager's attention, the problem is the exact same. You know the numbers, but you are completely failing to communicate the story.
Yeah, and that's really the ultimate dividing line, isn't it?
Right. The difference between an average accountant and a top-tier financial leader isn't how well they calculate the data. It's whether they know the secret to presenting it.
Absolutely, because raw data on its own is, well, it's entirely useless to a decision maker until you give it a shape.
Welcome to the deep dive. If you're tuning in from anywhere in the world right now, balancing your life and studying for your management accounting papers, so we're talking specifically MA1, MA2, and FMEMR, this was built exactly for you.
Yeah, wherever you are.
Exactly. And by the end of our conversation today, you will walk away with the ability to instantly identify the correct chart for any business scenario, interpret the hidden story in the data, and most importantly, spot the visual traps examiners set to catch you out.
Oh, and those traps are everywhere. I mean, they're in the exams, sure, but they're definitely out there in corporate annual reports, too.
For sure. Okay, so let's just clear the air first because, data presentation sounds incredibly dry. What are we actually dealing with here?
Right, so to define it simply, data presentation is the strategic selection of visual tools like graphs and charts to highlight critical relationships, trends, and insights that are buried in raw accounting figures.
So it's a translation exercise.
Exactly. It is the process of translating a dense table of numbers into a clear visual format that drives immediate business decision-making.
Choosing a chart is honestly like choosing a vehicle. You wouldn't use a massive 18-wheeler freight truck to deliver a single pizza.
No, definitely not.
And you shouldn't use, like, a complex clustered column chart when a simple line graph is what the data actually requires.
That's a great analogy. And, what's really fascinating, and this is a bit counterintuitive, straight from our source material, is that the exact same data can tell two entirely different stories just by tweaking the chart's axis.
Wait, really? How do you change the story without changing the actual numbers?
Well, you play with the scale. So think about a 5-year sales trend plotted on a line graph.
Okay, picturing it.
If you start at 0 on the y-axis, the line looks like, modest gradual growth. It's just a gentle slope.
Right, because the scale is so large.
Exactly. But if you take that exact same data, literally the exact same number, and start the y-axis just below the lowest value instead of at 0, it visually creates the illusion of a sharp, explosive increase.
Oh, wow, so it suddenly looks like a rocket ship.
Yeah, even though the underlying numbers haven't changed by a single cent.
Which makes total sense as to why examiners are so obsessed with testing this.
They love it.
But, to be direct about this, doesn't the software just do this for us now? Modern accounting programs, you highlight the data, hit a button, and it just spits out a chart.
Yeah, and that's the exact trap, right? ACCA examiners know that modern accounting software can generate any chart with a single click.
Right.
The software does the drawing. So the human skill, the part you're actually tested on, lies entirely in the selection and interpretation, not the creation.
Because the software has no idea what story you're trying to tell the board.
None whatsoever. And connecting this to the real world globally, bosses don't want data dumps. They want actionable insights.
Yeah. Choosing the wrong chart could literally mislead a board of directors into making a terrible financial decision.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They see that rocket ship chart, and suddenly they're authorizing a massive new factory, not realizing the growth was just a visual trick.
So that's how examiners test it then. They'll frequently present an inappropriately formatted chart and ask the student to identify exactly why it's misleading or useless.
Yes, that is a classic exam testing method. They want to see if you can act as a filter.
I have to say, examiners seem to take a deeply perverse joy in watching stressed students try to interpret a beautiful, full-color chart that actually contains completely meaningless information.
Oh, they do. They absolutely relish it.
So let's break this down into 3 clear, distinct parts so you never fall for it. What's the first category?
Part 1 is single versus multiple data sets. So here we are talking about your standard line, bar, and column charts.
Okay. And these are used for tracking trends over time, like 5 years of total sales, or comparing total sales versus total costs.
Right. And mechanically, the independent variable goes on the x-axis, and the dependent variable goes on the y-axis.
Simply put, this is how you track a single story over time, or race 2 different stories against each other.
That's a perfect way to summarize it. But, tracking total sales isn't enough when your boss wants to know exactly who is making the money.
Which brings us to part 2. Component and pie charts.
Exactly. These show the slices that make up the whole. Pie charts work great for a single period.
Like looking at one specific year.
Yeah. But component or stacked column charts show how that breakdown changes over multiple periods.
Simply put, these charts let you look under the hood to see exactly which departments are driving the total number.
Exactly right.
But looking at past performance is one thing. What if you need to predict the future?
Then you need part 3. Scatter diagrams and lines of best fit.
Right, okay.
This is where you plot two variables like, say, monthly output levels as x-coordinates and total costs as y-coordinates to see if they cluster together.
So you get this cloud of dots, and if there's a pattern, you can draw a trend line for forecasting.
Exactly. Simply put, it's connecting the dots of past behavior to accurately forecast future costs.
Okay, let's ground this. We need a vivid, global, real-world example because context is everything here.
Let's do it.
Imagine a growing multinational company. 4 global divisions: North, South, East, and West. Let's look at how the choice of chart changes everything depending on where you are in your career.
I like this. Let's start with an early career angle. So a junior accountant is tasked with showing the overall 5-year trend in total sales for all 4 divisions.
They might just highlight the data, hit the button, and use a clustered column chart, right?
Right, which ends up showing 20 different columns, 4 divisions multiplied by 5 years.
Which is technically accurate.
Technically, yes, but visually, it
Yeah.
totally overloads the chart. It makes it incredibly hard to see the big picture.
Okay, so let's flip to a senior professional angle. The CFO of this multinational needs to make a strategic boardroom decision about the struggling West Division.
Yeah, the CFO does not want a 20-column clustered chart. A stacked column chart like Chart 9 in our source material perfectly serves the CFO.
Because the overall height of the column shows that global sales are growing steadily, right?
Exactly. But the color-coded blocks, stacked within the column, reveal a totally different story. They show that the West Division is actually shrinking every single year.
Wow, despite the company's overall growth.
Exactly. And this naturally leads into a massive ACCA exam trap.
Oh, this is the pie chart trap, isn't it?
It is. An exam question might show a pie chart for 2009, where the West Division is 12% of total sales. Then, a 2013 pie chart shows it's only 4%.
And the question asks, did West's absolute sales fall?
Yes. And your gut reaction is, well, the slice is smaller, so sales must have dropped.
But that's wrong, right? Because a pie chart only shows percentages of a total, not absolute values. You literally cannot prove absolute sales fell just from a shrinking percentage.
Unless you check the overall total, because the overall total company revenue tripled in those 4 years.
And 4% of the new massive total could actually be way more actual cash than 12% of the old total.
Exactly. So if you just look at the shrinking angle of the slice, you get it completely wrong.
Which is a perfect segue to the single most common exam mistake on this topic. I'll just say it straight. You are trying to interpret meaningless totals or misreading optical illusions.
Yes, the illusions get people every time. Let's look at mistake 1. 3D column charts.
I see these in presentations all the time. People think they look so modern.
They do, but they're terrible for data. When examiners use 3D column charts, students tend to read the value from the front wall of the 3D block.
Which naturally looks closer to you.
Right. But doing that results in the wrong number. The grid lines align with the back of the shape.
So the fix is clear. Always read the exact value from the back wall of the 3D column.
Always. Then there's mistake 2, the meaningless total trap.
I hate this one.
Yeah, examiners will give you a stacked column chart combining total sales and total costs into one giant column, like chart C in the sources.
And the fix here is to realize immediately that this is an inappropriate chart because, adding your total sales and your total costs together is like adding your height to your weight to figure out how fast you can run.
That is exactly what it's like. It's a completely meaningless number.
And the examiner's just waiting to see if you fall for it.
They really are.
All right, let's give the listener their exam edge. We want you walking in there armed and ready.
Okay, here are 3 sharp, specific exam technique tips. Number 1, interrogate the y-axis.
Interrogate it. I like that.
Yeah, before you look at the line or the bars, look at the scale. If it doesn't start at 0, the visual severity of the trend is likely being exaggerated.
Essential. What's tip number 2?
Number 2, respect the pie chart's limits. Never assume a falling percentage on a pie chart means a falling absolute value.
Right, because a smaller slice of a much larger pie can still be more actual revenue.
Exactly. And finally, number 3, spot the meaningless stack. If a chart ever stacks unrelated totals together like sales and costs, flag it immediately as an inappropriate chart type.
For the younger listeners out there, if you follow these 3 rules, you instantly immune yourself to the visual trickery examiners use to strip marks from average students.
And in the boardroom, mastering these visuals is what elevates you from the person who just prepares the data to the person who actually drives the executive decisions.
You no longer have to stare blankly at those endless tables of accounting numbers, because now you know exactly how to extract the story they are trying to tell.
Numbers hold the truth, but the right chart holds the power.
We know you are balancing demanding careers, family life, and the intense pressure of pushing through your ACCA qualifications. We see the work you are putting in.
We really do.
Please follow the show on Spotify and leave a review. And before you go, think about this. Next time you look at a beautifully formatted, full-color chart in a company report, ask yourself, what data point did they intentionally leave off the page to make this look so good?
That's the real question.
Thank you for listening.